You're listening to the Quint's podcast.
They want me to be a doctor or something because my eldest brother had qualified to be an engineer. The other one was in the army, and she wanted to
That's a
respect
couple of professions for Nasir, lawyer, doctor.
lawyer. She says, you are a good debater, so I want to become a lawyer. Lawyer, I have to read these books.
So in 1978, actor Naseeruddin Shah and his friend Benjamin Gilani, who was also an actor, felt very passionately about theatre, and so while sitting in a coffee shop in Lucknow, decided to do the kind of plays that they really liked. A year later, in 1979, they did their first play, Waiting for Godot, at Prithvi Theatre in Mumbai, which at that time was actually only newly started. 40 years later, Naseeruddin Shah and his wife Ratna Pathak Shah's theatre group Motley has done 42 productions, always doing plays that resonate with them. Hey guys, my name is Nandkumar and you're listening to the third episode of OffScreen, where we talk movies and web shows and to the people who slog it out behind the scenes, that is off-screen, to make things happen on screen. This week, I'm going to be talking to Naseeruddin Shah and Ratna Pathak Shah, who are not only the force behind the theatre group Motley, but also two of the finest actors in India. They talk to me about their love for theatre, the kind of plays they like to do, and why movies can never be as challenging as theatre. But before that, I want you to know that you can tune in to listen to me every Wednesday on the Quint's channel, so watch out for this space. And if you like this podcast and want to hear more like it, you can head over to the Quint's podcast section or subscribe to the Quint's channel on Apple, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Let's begin. Sir, ma'am, thank you so much for being on the Quint and thank you for doing this. It's been 40 years since the first production of Motley, and there have been a bunch of plays over the years, but when you look back, how do you look at all the plays? How do you look at all the times? Good, bad, ugly?
They've been mostly good times as far as theatre is concerned because our livelihoods never depended on it. Our bread and butter didn't depend on it. We were always doing it as a sort of hobby. In fact, that is how I always claim this. My attachment to theatre is my hobby, a hobby which I'm very passionate about. So we haven't had unqualified success all the time, but we've had a very stimulating journey, very educative and great fun. And it feels really distant to think back. I mean, 40 years in Motley and then many years before that, 10 years at least before that, since I was in college, 67. That's when I would think that I actually started taking theatre seriously. Of course, I'd done plays in school and all, but in college was really where I was introduced to the kind of theatre which I hadn't seen before and which two playwrights who I still continue, to stage. So I think back on those days with great fondness because those were laid the foundation for my love for theatre.
But since your childhood, did you watch plays and you were interested in it versus like movies? Because when
Movies and plays both, and cricket, all three I found equally magical to watch. I never got to act in a play till I was 14 years old. And the moment I went on stage, I knew this is where I belong. I never got to watch too much cricket because test matches were only test matches were played then. I don't know if you know about this. Only test matches and about 5 test matches a year. And they were played in places like Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and so on, where I lived in small towns. So I never saw any cricket, but played a lot of it. And it was bliss to play cricket. I still love the game. And watching movies, I've been watching movies since I was, I think, 3. My dad, who was otherwise quite a Puritan, for some reason, allowed us to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, because otherwise Bollywood is like a no-no, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, but
It
he was
wasn't
very...
Hollywood. It was mainly Hollywood.
Hollywood,
okay.
War movies or cartoons, and Hindi movies, Dilip Kumar movies. He was discerning. Huh? We were allowed to see only Dilip Kumar. So I've seen a lot of early Dilip Kumar movies, and my admiration for him stems from then.
I grew up in a theatre family in Bombay. So mine is the exact opposite experience. I grew up backstage practically. Yes, I saw And my parents had no qualms about letting me see very bad theatre, but had terrible qualms about me seeing movies. So I ended up seeing no movies. Uh, and in any case, they were not terribly serious movie buffs, either of them, strangely. It was my aunt, my mum's younger sister, and her husband. They were the movie buffs. And they were part of the early film club movement in Mumbai. So there was a film club that they ran called Suchitra,
Film
Society Movement. And that was the only way one could access films that were not Hollywood.
Or not coming to the theatre.
Yeah. So I ended up watching a lot of Russian films, for example, or French films or things like that. But I can't say I was ever starry-eyed about the whole business because I always saw the backstage. My mom started acting in movies, so I went with her to shooting. So I always saw the non-attractive part of the business or the non-glamorous part of the business. So I wasn't ever blue. I sometimes feel sorry that I never felt that magical quality about performance. But I didn't until I started performing myself. And then the magic hit me.
But was it like in those days it was considered nicer to be a part of theatre than Hindi
Well,
cinema?
there's always
Was it
been
like that?
snooty people who look down on anything popular. So yeah, sure. When films were popular, then people looked down on films. If theatre was more popular, people have looked down on theatre also before that. So it's okay. People look down on something or the other.
Well, in my family, it was just unthinkable to talk of trying to be an actor. And I never confessed it to anyone, except to my two brothers who encouraged me. But, and then somehow the news found its way to my father by the time I had finished with my college. And then I could do what I pleased. But Ratna's family was quite different in that way. They were cosmopolitan. They were living in a city like Bombay. I'd lived in small towns and my sensibilities were determined by that kind of thing. So...
Driven by academics, I'm guessing.
No, I wasn't the least bit interested in
But I mean, parents' expectation of you being driven
Yeah,
by
they wanted me to be a doctor or something. Because my eldest brother had qualified to be an engineer. The other one was in the army and she wanted to
Left a
respect...
couple of professions for Nasir, lawyer, doctor.
Lawyer. She says, you are a good debater, so I want to become a lawyer. Lawyer, I have to read these books. Doctor again? No. I'll probably punch out my patients, So I chose the easier option. The only thing I had a dilemma about was between cricket and acting, I didn't at that age, I did actually dream of acting in films, but I never thought it would ever come about. We saw a lot of movies in the school I studied in. And as if that wasn't enough, we were taken to town to see the great movies, the widescreen movies like Lawrence of Arabia and 10 Commandments and so on. So I got hooked onto movies at a very early age. I never thought, it seemed like an impossible dream.
But post the time that you started Motley, you joined in a little later, right? Like
Just a little later. I was in the NSD in 79. I finished with NSD in 81. So when I came back, then I joined up. But there was nothing really like joining as such, I mean, it's never been like that. I mean, Nasir and Ben got together and said, let's do a play. So let's take this one, that one. Aise karke. That's how we've always functioned.
Let's get friends who enjoy spending time with. Basically, that's the thing. And Ratna and I had worked in the theatre together before Motley was formed. We met in a play done by Dubey. And then we did our own little attempts of plays like Ionesco's The Lesson and a play by a friend of mine called Panchwa Sawar. So we did these little things, staged them here and there, wherever we could, before Motley was formed. And then she went away to NSD, which is why she wasn't one of the founder members, really. But there's no membership, as Ratna said. There's no membership.
A core bunch of people make important decisions versus what
basically.
to pick, I'm guessing.
Yes. And I think since the decisions they do not involve large sums of money, they're easy. It's money that buggers up a lot of things. So we've never had that problem.
Right. So I read an interview of yours where you said that when you started acting, you felt like, now when you look back, you felt like you weren't as good an actor as you are today. And you said that theatre had a huge role in actually making you a better actor. So what is it that it does that you think when you then start working in movies helps you?
I don't know if... I don't know if the the skills required of the actor, the basic skills change very much depending on the medium. The medium remains the same, but the demands made on the actor are more or less similar. It all depends on the material that you are using. In the theatre, you use material that has some literary quality, that has sometimes stood the test of time, that has seen many avatars, a piece of Shaw or Shakespeare or Ismat Chughtai, for example. These are stories that have lasted for a long time and they still ring true and still make a difference to contemporary audiences. So those are the ways that we choose, and those are the kind of things that attract us.
But see, it's also a question of practice, quite simply. For films, even rehearsal is unheard of, Rehearsing before the shoot, oh, come on, forget it. And even at times, I've met actors, some pretty good ones, who are allergic to rehearsal even before the shot.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, spontaneity, all this
is
nonsense
what
about spontaneity.
Yeah.
But doing theatre, you cannot just get onto the stage and spout dialogue. You've got to. So it's a question of riyaz.
It's riyaz, it's discipline, it's learning to work with others.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you better.
And also as Ratna said, it isn't such a big difference in terms of craft. I mean, see, why is to give a cricketing analogy, Rohit Sharma so brilliant in one-dayers and not good in test matches? It's not as if his skill deserts him when he plays a test match. Or why is so-and-so excellent in a T20 and not good in 50-0, and so on. It's a question of adjusting, really, that's all. That's the difference, if any, between acting in front of a camera and acting in front of an audience, provided the presence of the audience doesn't scare you, which it seems to do a lot of. I'm sure skillful actors like, say, a Johnny Lever, for example, who I consider a highly skillful actor in his own field, of course, would be brilliant on the stage if he would submit to the disciplines. And he's great in movies as well. He does the same thing, when he does his one-man shows or when he acts in movies.
But the demands on movie actors,
it's a question of adjusting to the medium, yeah.
And also the script. I mean, what kind of a demand does a script like Golmaal 3? What does it make? The greatest demand it does make is one of patience, which is a tremendous virtue and one should learn it. So that's wonderful because you have to just sit and wait and wait and do nothing and wait some more. So that's really a special skill. So yeah. But apart from that,
and that's why film acting is so tiring, because this waiting kills me. I go home after a day's shoot more exhausted than after an 8-hour rehearsal, to tell you the truth. Because you have to sustain that concentration, for 8 hours, and the waiting is just endless.
Very less time spent in doing something productive on a film set.
That's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's not only time wasted. Even where time is not being wasted, that's the nature of the beast. Somebody waits. Often it turns out to be you. So you wait.
What do you think has been characteristic of a Motley production, like the plays that you pick, that you feel?
Low budgets. We have never focus on actors. Focus on the spoken word.
I think I read somewhere because you said you realized there would not be enough money to make like a Broadway or a huge fancy
Not that I
musical,
dreamt for
right?
very long of doing Broadway type of stuff. I was influenced by Mr. Alkazi, who did very spectacular plays. And I thought...
Scarcely Broadway.
But scarcely Broadway. But compared to what one had seen in India, it was truly, breathtaking. What he produced, the effect, and his staging and all was really quite something. But I quickly realized that his productions didn't have soul. You'd always see the actors in his production going through their emotions like they were doing a job. Not as if they were having the time of their lives, which I believe actors on stage should be, doing. If you're not enjoying every moment of being on stage, you should not be on stage. It's as simple as that. In my book, it's the most joyous activity, in the world. And I quickly abandoned the idea because I realized we don't have the resources. And why should I dream of being? And meanwhile, Dubey's influence had happened. the austerity of his productions also affected me a lot. And he was as effective with a bare stage as Al-Qazi was with 50 people on the stage, you know. And so that was the reason. Then one got to travel abroad and see plays on Broadway and so on. And I got sick of the Broadway plays very quickly because
In fact, one of the earliest times we went, we made the mistake of seeing 3 Broadway shows, one on
after
top of
another.
the other. And they were all the big 3 shows in town that year. And
all pretty good shows. Huh? We saw Cats, which was wonderful. We saw Sunset Boulevard, which is a great story. And the third one, we saw The Phantom of the Opera, in which we fell asleep. And it's the most spectacular of the lot.
Right.
The music is great. But, you know,
Doesn't move you. Yeah.
you don't know whether you're seeing a movie or watching a play, you know.
not just that, the stories are so predictable. And there's no literary value, there's nothing to, you know what's going to happen. And you're waiting for the next number to start. Meanwhile, there's one scene that Zabardasti Thusod in. Structure-wise, I feel that the musical is not a very happy structure for me.
Is that because it's to entertain people versus you enjoying it yourself, the
Yeah,
actor?
it is the people who flock to Broadway and West End are tourists. The Britishers don't go to see the plays at the West End, nor do the Americans go to see plays at Broadway. It's Japanese tourists, American tourists, etc., who come and see these magic shows. They are magic shows. They are not. I mean, where you have sets disappearing and appearing, and characters appearing, and characters walking through mirrors, and people going flying through the air and stuff like that. I mean, I'd rather watch a circus, you know, than watch something like this.
And skillfully done, a well-made, put-together play is great to
Yeah,
watch.
great
But
to watch.
once in a year. I
Yeah,
can't
if you've seen one,
take
you've
a
seen them
regular
all, you know.
diet
Rarely
of
do you
that.
come across a play with great content, you know, like Sunset Boulevard or Cats, for example. Rarely. And I got drawn more and more, definitely Dubey's influence, more and more towards the spoken word on the stage. And so we are really there now where to us the spoken word is all. And I'm hoping we can find some new direction.
And this set of stories, I mean, this set of shows that we have been doing as part of Motleyana, really seems to be a culmination of all that. The fun that we've had with the spoken word, because we found that the audiences are largely young. Lots of young people come. So obviously, the storytelling format is one that seems to attract young people. The stories have a lot of humor. And though they are Urdu and they are set in they were written at a particular time, they're terribly contemporary stories. Ismat, I don't think there are too many contemporary writers who can quite match up with her sense of fun and sexual abandon and complete non-judgmentalness. She's fantastic. And that's why I'm hoping that the next set of shows that we are doing at Veer Savarkar, which is a different audience altogether, and it's an audience that's used to seeing Marathi plays. But I'm not sure what they make of our plays. They come, lots of them come. And people from Thana and Chembur and things like
an
that
audience
also come.
which has never seen our work,
Yeah.
who can't travel to the NCPA or to Prithvi, they come to Veer Savarkar. I just wish they would also come for the plays in which neither of us is acting, you know. And that's what I feel. I feel very sorry
It'll
about
happen.
because it will happen with time. But I wish it would hasten. The process would hasten itself because these productions are no less in any way than any of the ones in which Ratna and I act. They don't, except that we're not acting in them. They have equally great content. They are equally well presented, equally entertaining, equally stimulating. I just wish the audience comes to see these plays. We are expecting they will turn up for Dear Liar and Ismat Aapa Ke Naam and Einstein, but I hope they come for these other plays as well.
You know, I have to say, so I saw Aurat 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 at Prithvi, and it was a packed audience. So I was just wondering that, of course, most people think that, you know, people want to watch movies, and that's that's the obvious choice of entertainment for most people. So then in that situation, how do you nurture this? Because when I went there, it was full, and I really enjoyed it.
By just keeping on doing it.
So sometimes you get full
Yeah.
houses, sometimes you
we get
don't.
full, sometimes we had 20 people in the audience.
You keep doing
For
it.
Aurat 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 in one of those runs.
So that's all right.
But the actors, luckily, they're all troopers. They're all beautiful, wonderful girls, all of whom never took it to heart and, you know, enjoyed themselves even if there were 20 people in the audience. They had a good show.
Right.
And if they had a full house, then of course that was so much of a
Yeah.
bonus.
So, I mean, did you find it difficult, for example, Aurat to understand and put together in your
No,
head?
so I mean that's what I was just telling a friend, that this seems so contemporary, and to me it seems like this should be a way of life because that's what I'm used to around the people that I am. But still, for a large number of people, that is not the way of life, and to imagine that was how
They
someone
don't-
thought
you know,
long back.
Those people won't give a play like this a chance. They won't, because they'll say Paisa Vasool is basically the bottom line now. Why do they flock to Salman Khan movies without hesitation? Because they know it's Paisa Vasool. Amir Khan, they'll think twice. Yeah, thinking man. Bore karega.
So the cerebral aspect puts.
The
people
cerebral
off.
aspect. Yeah, then when they get an assurance कि नहीं कुश्ती उश्ती है, then they say हाँ ठीक है, okay. But Salman, they'll go without thinking. Paisa Vasool.
And they might
Jo-
get put off
Yeah.
and bothers me. but
Johnny,
next time again they'll go
Johnny
back.
packs the Shanmukhananda Hall by himself for a solo performance. There's 2,000 people. They know it's Paisa Vasool. औरत इसमें चुभता ही और पता नहीं यार.
ऊपर से नसीरुद्दीन शाह का तड़का. तौबा.
Serious actor है.
Do you wish that it was accessible? Like, do you think of how I can make, because it was so entertaining? I mean, do you think
No,
that?
because I think that the number of people who I can possibly reach out to, I have reached out to, and those who are interested in the work we do have are seeing it. I don't covet a larger audience. I know that a play like Aurat performed to an audience of 2,000 people probably wouldn't work.
Right.
You know, even in Bareilly or Kanpur, you know, I doubt if they, because the form is alien, that of storytelling. You know, we've done Ismat Apa Ke Naam, which we are very proud of, and we've had people who understood very good Urdu and have lived the kind of lives of those things, but they didn't get the play at all because the form is alien, of just one person sitting there and telling us.
Why it should be, I don't know. Considering that's the first form of entertainment any of us have seen. Mum telling a story. Somebody telling you a story. Your oldest brother, sister, somebody telling you a story.
It requires also, it makes a demand on the audience. They can't just sit back and ha 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 ha, you know, they have to say, okay, what's being said here? This is something, why is everybody laughing? I'm missing out, you know, so it's demanding. So I don't kid myself that, you know, we'll perform, we may continue doing the play for 10 years, 15 years, like many of our plays. Ismat Apa has been on for 18 years now. But we know that we have a niche audience.
Yeah. What's the right kind of theatre audience etiquette? Because when I was there, I remember a bunch of people just reacting so loudly to your play, and I thought that must be great for the actors because it's
Not
like,
always.
So I was just wondering what is according to you is good theatre etiquette?
Well,
Keep your mobile phones off. Try not to talk amongst yourselves. And listen. And if you don't like what you're hearing, just quietly get up and go away now. We don't mind.
Yeah, that's the
कोई
trouble.
जबरदस्ती नहीं
people
है.
don't leave, you know, they sit there and they'll be on their
On their
mobile
phone. That's
But that is
worse.
something we theatre actors have to live with. We cannot complain about this. It's part of life.
Part of the game.
I grew up watching people walk in and out of Gujarati Natak constantly. And Jain social group kind of show अगर होगा तो खाना बीच में आके बटाटा वड़ा निकला था बटाटा वड़ा and every the whole lot goes off कि बटाटा वड़ा खाने चले गए.
Yeah, and they know they won't miss anything. You know,
So-
I remember going out for a leak of smoke a cigarette or something in Hindi films when I was in college. When a song began, I said, "Chalo yaar."
Because like, the narrative's not changing much anyway, so like, let's just take a break. You said this thing really funny about how somebody told you that, hey, the play was so nice, but it was so long. and
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was excruciatingly long. Beautiful on the one hand, excruciating on the other. Wow. People, I don't know.
so did you like it or not? Did you ask? I mean, what does that mean?
It was evident that she had slept through half of it.
Yeah, why make it?
Yeah, why
underline it?
Why underline it? You can make out, you know, when you meet a person after the play.
Yeah.
And that is why I'd rather not know. You know, immediately after a play, I'd rather not know. It's okay if you've clapped everything. I'm feeling good. I'll just go home. Tell me a week later what you felt.
How open?
ये सब कुछ हिंदी में भी करना है याद रखना.
Right.
हाँ और हमारे
Yes.
पास टाइम उतना ही है.
Right. Yes. But I mean, how open have you been to criticism towards a performance or a play, or like Has it ever bothered you? Has it pinched you?
No, unfortunately, one receives very little constructive criticism. One receives there's no critics, there are no reviews of plays. Not that one takes reviewers terribly seriously. The reviewer's opinion is as valid as the rickshawala's opinion. So it's something you got a sense for yourself, don't you think?
No, I do think that there is the role of a critic in a society. I do think that critic's job is to inform the audience about more than what is surface, what is seen on the surface.
Right.
And a good critic does that, helps you to place a piece in a director's work का context, in the social context around us. कुछ तो करे, सिर्फ कहानी बता करके ये good, that bad, dialogue was clap-worthy. Those are the kind of
That's the kind of reviews you get.
In these
You actually have a reviewer confessing about weeping loudly during a film. I mean, the reviewer is weeping audibly. What kind of a review are you going to write?
Away. So the dispassionate observer is not part of our culture only.
The dispassionate, educated observer.
Yes.
To review theatre, you need to know a great deal about it. You can't just sit down and, as Ratna said, tell the story or say so-and-so was very good and so-and-so was not so good. I wish there was...
We don't have we have not cultivated. And now I don't think we are going to, because we don't like criticism of any kind. We only want acceptance. Bhakti bhav. बस उतना ही चाहिए अभी हमको. भक्ति चाहिए, only. So this is a very difficult and dangerous state for our society and certainly for our arts. Very difficult state.
Do you think that some of that might reflect in the work because it may attract a certain audience or a younger audience, a certain political comment that you would like to make or a social comment because of what you see? Or are the plays anyways doing it?
I think the plays are doing it. I don't feel the need to tom-tom about my political commitment and that, I will only do plays which are political. I think there's politics in everything, including in relationships.
Right, yeah.
And to me that's far more interesting than
than an outwardly sort of...
than the doings of some corrupt man, who's in power. I would rather deal with the day-to-day, and there are so many writers in India who have written about those kind of things, and I would rather deal with those. Where I feel the need, where a political statement comes in, where the writer himself has brought it in, one is not at all averse to, of making that statement. But we don't have in the theatre, we don't have a stance as such. We want to provide a stimulating evening to the viewers.
And to ourselves mainly.
Yeah. No, because I know that every time you have made a comment, I don't think you're on social media, but Twitter goes crazy and it's furor. So...
अच्छा है ना? क्या हो रहा है? इस बहाने बातें होती रहती हैं.
Yeah.
And if that adage is true, okay, there's nothing like bad publicity, then I suppose this is also good.
Okay.
But it's so silly, this entire conversation.
Yeah.
This entire mess that we are in just now. That the less we talk about it and the less importance we give it, the better it is.
Yeah.
Everyone make up your own minds.
Yeah.
Zara.
I'm amused at the trolling that happens to me. It just amuses me. And I invariably say I like very much what you said.
On what platform do you say that? Or
I'm only on Facebook.
Oh, on Facebook, okay.
So I seldom go to the notifications section, but once in a while I do, just to see how it feels. It doesn't feel good. But I say very much, thumbs up, well said.
Because Twitter is quite ridiculous because...
Twitter though.
Just a couple of days ago, there's this guy who tweeted about how he didn't like a certain delivery man because he was from a certain religion. And you had the audacity to put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
How lovely. I say thank you very much to him.
Do you not know that people will
Look
see
at what has come out of it. Look at how many people are talking about it. Look at what is being said. The man is shown his place. I like that. There's a lot of filth in all of us. We all have to let it out and then maybe settle down.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing that it's all
learn
coming
how
out.
to think again. This gandagi should not be bottled up. Isko bahar nikalo. Manto also said that. And that's why I think Manto Ismat Hazir hai that we are going to be doing. And if you haven't come and seen it, you must come and see it. It's such an important play. They were both hauled up for obscenity, of course. Right. And Manto has been really क्या कहते हैं, harassed on that score by a political organization that didn't like him. So it's so relevant in today's time. And he says that. Yeah, I need to talk about it. I don't talk about ugly stuff by writing with a black chalk on a blackboard. I write with a white chalk.
Do you find these times are going to be hard for art?
Oh, yes. And great for art.
Right.
Great for art. Maybe not immediately. Maybe 10 years down the line. Because this is the first time a generation is actually seeing what it feels like to be misruled. My generation didn't see it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, did you feel like this when you were growing up?
No.
You didn't.
I felt hopeful. Your generation is the first real generation that is feeling hopeless, like the people felt just before independence. That sense of despair. How long will we carry on in this horrible state?
Right.
I'm afraid it's going to be tough, but it may be necessary. And I have a feeling we'll come out better. Because again, there have never been so many educated people in India. And so many young educated people in India. And hopefully the rest of us will die off quickly. I hope so.
Right. So my final question is that how do you keep the love for theatre going when you've been working in films and you've been working in television sporadically? Has there ever been like a time where you've had to compromise on doing theatre because of either?
We've managed. It's easy to manage. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's possible. I've done it. There are days when I've shot in the day and performed at night. So has Ratna. There are days when we've had to rehearse at my studios where I was shooting. I don't think ever have I had to cancel doing a play because of a film commitment, or vice versa. And I think that's the same.
I didn't have to make many such choices. Fortunately, nobody gave me any work apart from the theatre. So I continued very happily to do my theatre.
Yeah. But it remains a mystery forever, right? Why we don't see you as much.
Never mind. जितना देखते हो उतना अच्छा मिलता है तो करते हैं. But that really gave me time to breathe and do things, you know. It gave me time to become a human being.
Yes.
So I can't be sorry about that.
Yeah. And it gave us Sarabhai with a Sarabhai. So, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you so much for being on the Quint. I really enjoyed this conversation.
So that was Ratna Pathak Shah and Naseeruddin Shah being super candid as always. Tune in next Wednesday for yet another episode of OffScreen. And if you have any suggestions, you can get in touch with me on @nandkumar_27 on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can drop me a mail on nandkumar.ramohan@thequint.com. Before I sign off, don't forget to subscribe to the Quint's channel on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any of the several platforms we're on right now. See you and bye.